Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best-ish hour-long Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Leanna Caney, and I'd like to welcome to the show Griffin, coming in from Ohio. Welcome, Griffin.
Good evening. I never know whether you're going to do me or Lewis first. That seems to vary arbitrarily.
I like to keep the suspense.
Keep us on edge.
Who are you?
Exactly. I know, yeah, exactly. All right, and Lewis Wallace, coming in from about 2 blocks away. Welcome, Lewis.
Hey, all the awe has dropped.
All right, so this week we're going to talk exclusively about a super exciting rumor about the updated Vision Pro. We're going to get more unified memory, right?
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Seems like something else happened this week.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, that's right. Apple's all dropping event. Yeah, so I think we're going to be talking about that a little bit. We should be talking about the iPhone 17, the AirPods Pro 3, the Apple Watch Series 11, the Ultra 3, the SE, plus the part of the show that everyone's really looking forward to, our prediction results, like how we did
Oh my
last week.
God, I couldn't even bear to look at them.
Yeah,
I kept
right,
hearing
me
things
neither.
like, "Oh, there's another one."
Right. Oh, were you thinking about it while during the show?
Yeah,
But
yeah, it drives me batty.
oh dear. So I didn't even think about it at all.
Ooh.
I'm probably not going to do very well. Oh no.
You didn't look either, right?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Devastating. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Sponsor. I'd like to thank our sponsor for this week, CleanMyMac from MacPaw. So CleanMyMac is this awesome program that I've been a user and a paying user for years. And it's probably the best way to keep you to care and control of your Mac. It's notarized by Apple, so Apple has checked the code, and you can get it from download it from the Mac App Store. CleanMyMac removes all kinds of junk from your Mac, all these kind of unnecessary files that you don't need, and it's really good at cleaning up space and uninstalling stuff. It does a whole bunch of things. It keeps your Mac running really spiffy. The new feature is Cloud Cleanup, which connects to your accounts in iCloud, OneDrive, Google Drive, and it'll scan these drives for big, large space wasting files, stuff that's synced or unsynced in cloud or on your device, and it'll help you choose what you keep and what you want to delete. You can quickly perform an instant cleanup and get a whole bunch of free gigabytes, and it gives you like this, it's a super easy way to keep your Mac running at top speed. So get tidy today. You can try it for 7 days for free. And if you use the code CultCast, you can get 20% off. That's code CultCast for 20% off. Go to, this is a great URL, CleanMyClnmy.com/CultCast, CLNMY.com, CultCast, and we'll have this link in the show notes and on YouTube. So thanks, MacPaw, for sponsoring this week's CultCast. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the most surprising thing that Apple revealed at the dropping event, which is the super slim iPhone Air, and Griffin is going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so this is the rumored slim iPhone. We were right on the name. It is iPhone Air, although it is not iPhone 17 Air. It's just iPhone Air. I think a friend of the show, Sam Henry Gold, did some spelunking on the Apple website and actually found a few references like in the HTML code where they refer to like images and alt text as iPhone 17
Right.
Air.
So weird. Why did they drop
It might have been a last-minute marketing decision there, but yeah, the iPhone Air, it measures just 5.6 millimeters thick, making it substantially thinner than current models. It has a titanium body rather than aluminum, probably for like the additional structural rigidity to make it that thinner, much thinner. And they still say it's like the strongest, or no, I forget exactly the superlative they used, but either the strongest or like most durable iPhone they've ever made. Like this, although it's so thin, like, we'll see how bend gate affects this phone. But yeah, it's super durable. For comparison, the iPhone 16 Pro is 8.25 millimeters thick, while the base iPhone 16 and 16 Plus are 7.8 millimeters. Even the iPhone 6 measured 6.9 millimeters thin.
And that was the previous thinnest one, is that right?
Yeah, that was the previous thinnest one. So this is substantially thinner than like the previous thinnest.
I've seen it's about as thin as an old iPod Nano, right? One of the old Nanos.
Yeah, the last Nano they made that was kind of like a tiny iPhone. I really want one of those, by the way. But Yeah, it's about as thin as that. It's not quite as thin as that, but it's about as thin as that.
Okay, I think I've got one with a swelling battery that I can sell you with a bunch of other Apple junk for your collection.
Sure, sure. So this model gets ceramic shield on both the front and the back. And they have a new ceramic shield 2 that they say is like, 4 times more scratch resistant. And the ceramic shield 2 is on the front, so the glass isn't going to be as scratchy. Internally, basically, the entire phone and all of its components are in what they call the iconic plateau. So,
Have they ever? Did they use that term before? I don't remember hearing that, but maybe they did.
plateau as a term is what they like internally used to refer to that bump, and I think in some the big long document that shows all the exact precise dimensions and specs that they send to like camera makers or no case makers, they referred to it as the plateau, but it wasn't really something that they used publicly before. But I feel like this goes along with dynamic island and all these other new terms. Like Apple wants to give a term to everything to avoid it being stuck with a negative name, which I think, like notch. Notch is the canonical example.
Camera bump.
Yeah. So now it's the plateau and the dynamic island.
Feels classy, doesn't it? It's a plateau.
Well, it's not just a plateau; it's called the iconic plateau.
Yeah. So basically, the entire phone lives in there. I mean, that was the open question. We were like, well, on the Pro phones, the camera bump is going to be bigger, probably because they have some fancy camera stuff going on in there. But why is it on the 17 Air? That doesn't make any sense. Well, this is the answer. The entire phone is in there and protrudes out a little bit.
It's
so
insane, isn't it? It's amazing miniaturization. I mean, that was the biggest surprise from this whole thing. I think that they managed to cram the entire guts, the computing guts of the phone into the plateau.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
yeah.
and the rest of it is just battery and screen.
Mm-hmm. I think it's an open question as to where the taptic engine is, because that usually works better on the bottom half of the phone where your hand is, so that you feel more of the vibration there. I don't know if we know that yet, or maybe somebody hasn't dissected Apple's like 3D imagery of it yet. But another question people had was like, well, if the camera bar is sticking out that far, is the phone going to be really top heavy? Because that would be kind of uncomfortable to have. But I mean, I've been thinking about it. The battery is probably going to be the heavier part of it, and so having all the battery weight like in the lower 3/4 might offset the extra protrusion on top. So again, we'll see that when we have it in our hands. The display size is halfway between the regular phone and the big phone. So it's 6.5 inches compared to 6.3 and 6.9. Single 48 megapixel rear fusion camera, just like the iPhone 16e. As far as I know, I don't think they made that many improvements to their rear 1x lens this year. I don't remember them. They didn't really talk about it that much. A lot of the camera improvements are the front camera, which we'll get to. The telephoto lens on the Pro phones, and the regular iPhone 17 gets the improved ultra wide camera, but not really anything new on the 1x camera, if I remember correctly. The front camera is an 18 megapixel square sensor, so because it's square, you no longer have to physically rotate your phone vertically and horizontally.
Yeah.
That is excellent. That is an excellent.
Right. This is probably some of the best camera improvements is that front center stage camera, and the stuff they're doing there. Mm-hmm. The new selfie camera that looks really, really sweet.
I'm very excited to try that out. In terms of accessories, we have an iPhone Air case with MagSafe, which is the thin translucent one that's under a millimeter thin in the back. The whole thing about that phone is you buy a super thin phone, but you have to put it in a case. Well, this case is still only they described it as being under a millimeter thin. So if you think about it, even if you add that case, you'd still be thinner than the next thinnest iPhone ever, because that would be 6.6 millimeters thick, still thinner than the iPhone 6. So you can put this thing in a case and it'll still be thinner. That's kind of crazy. You have a bumper case with a, quote, reinforced polycarbonate design. The interesting thing about this bumper case is that the camera protrudes beyond the edge of the bumper on the back. Yeah. Apple has one promotional image on their, when you go to buy the case on the Apple Store where they show it from the bottom, and you can see, the camera protrudes beyond the border of the case. So I think that was a question we had, how would it work? I was thinking, well, maybe the bumper would get thicker on the top edge of the phone, since you're not really touching that area anyways. No, Apple Apple doesn't want to blemish the beautiful design of the thin uniform bumper. So
Yeah. I wonder how that's going to work. I mean, maybe we can get a bumper for the camera bump, a bump for the bump of the bump.
yeah, additional bumper. We have the crossbody strap, which is made from recycled yarns, and Apple describes it as draping comfortably around you with embedded flexible magnets and a stainless steel sliding mechanisms, so that you can adjust the length and keep both of like the straps like snapped together, so there's no like dangly bits around that. Crossbody straps, I am told, are very popular. Have you seen a lot of people wearing these styles of things?
I've seen a few, yeah, and definitely more popular more recently, yeah. You see people out in the wild.
One of the videos or something they had was like of a guy getting on a bicycle with one of those things on. I was like, I don't know, it's an odd look. I was wondering how many men are going to be using the crossbody strap. And I
mean, we have pockets, so that's not a concern for us.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people I've seen using these things, it's been when I've been on vacation. See people, tourists. It's perfect for if you're a tourist. You're walking around, you got this thing. It's always there. You don't have to dig it out if you see something you want to take a picture of. But
I've heard somebody say like it's harder to get your phone swiped out of your hands if you're wearing a strap. Pickpockets, they can't just grab it off of you because they'd have to pull it off your shoulders. They can't just grab it out of your hands and go running down the street.
But doesn't it attach magnetically though? I mean, it's just going to pop right off. It's going to be like...
So it clips into the corner of the case to your phone, so that part is secure. The magnetic part is the fact that the strap attaches magnetically to itself so that it isn't all loose and dangly.
Oh, I misunderstood the whole thing. So it's actually secure, somewhat secure.
It is secure. Some of the Apple cases, I don't know if they've actually said which ones, or they don't make it obvious. Some of the Apple cases, like the TechWoven case and the 17 Air clear case, have holes on the bottom that you can loop lanyards through. So, I mean, the advantage there is that you can loop third-party lanyards through it as well, not just Apple's official lanyard.
Oh, got it.
Strap. We have a MagSafe battery for the 17 Air that attaches to the back, but because it's so tall and thin, it doesn't fit any other model of iPhone, just the 17 Air. They describe it as the 17 Air battery pack, and that is the only one it fits, which is a mild disappointment. I think a lot of people were wishing for Apple to update the MagSafe battery pack accessory so they could buy it for their, iPhone 16 or 17 Pro. I was one of those people, but no dice. It is just for the 17 Air.
Yeah, that seems a bit of a lost opportunity maybe, but...
I can see where they're coming from. They want to make it as thin as possible, and to make it as thin as possible, they have to make it as tall and wide as possible. And the 17 Air is the only phone that has had that much open space on the back without a camera bump.
Yeah,
except maybe for the 16E, but the 16E doesn't have MagSafe, so...
There's going to be no shortage of batteries anyway, isn't it? Compatible with these new phones, so...
We talked on this show about these new Anchor MagSafe battery packs that are also pretty thin and light and fit on modern iPhones, so third parties can step in there. This is kind of interesting. During the event, they were really coy about talking about the battery life on the iPhone. They were like, John Turner was like, now let's talk battery life. It has battery life. They're like, oh God, how's it going to be? How bad is it going to be? It's kind of perplexing because it actually doesn't have that much worse battery life than you would expect. If you look on Apple's website, and they don't have very good specs for this, they only measure battery life in hours of streamed video playback. But based on that metric, the 17 Air has the same battery life as the iPhone 16 Pro. Both of them cite 22 hours of streamed video playback. So I don't know why they were so coy about it. If it's actually
it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it's the exact same as their flagship phone of the previous year.
And if this is isn't it a different kind of battery? Is it a new battery?
I think it's a new battery chemistry or some new battery technology, because all of the Apple devices got significantly better battery life this year. All of the iPhone lineup, the Apple Watch got the first battery life increase that it has ever had on the regular series models. The AirPods have better battery life. I think they switched to a new battery chemistry. Apple was also really coy about this. They just said they re-engineered the battery architecture or something vague like that. But
because there was all these rumors about how it was going to be a solid state battery, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think these might be partially solid state batteries in some way or another. teardowns will probably reveal more answers to these questions, but new battery chemistry.
I mean, it's such an important. This is one of the things that people are most worried about, isn't it? This is the one feature that people want Apple to improve, is battery life. It's like the one thing that comes up over and over. And if they have a new kind of battery, it's surprising they didn't make more of a bigger deal out of it. They didn't talk about it.
They're just shy about like going into too many technical details. They just want to talk about it in terms of this device has 8 more hours of battery life than the model it replaces.
Yeah, and that was a really packed event anyway. I mean, it was like bang, 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 and it was so fast that
it was really short too. Like it was, they had similar amount. I know that point lost on the prediction game, but they honestly had more that they announced this year than last year, and the event was shorter by like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was snappy. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
In terms of colors, we have colors inspired by the concept of lightness. So we have sky blue, light gold, cloud white, and black.
You can barely call them colors.
Yep, barely colors.
Which color do you like the best?
I'm not especially taken by any of them. I ordered an iPhone Air in the light gold color. I'm going to see how that looks. The colors on the glass colors on the back are very pale, but the shiny edges around look kind of vibrant. So I think the gold might have an attractive look to it.
I think white's a good color. You can never really go wrong with a white iPhone, I don't think.
If I were ordering this personally for myself, I would probably get either the white or the black. But if I'm buying a product to review, I feel compelled to like get one of the colors so I can talk about the colors more with my hands-on experience for the people who like colors. So I felt compelled to get either the blue or the gold, and I'm going to go for the one that's closer to the hues of tans and browns that is my favorite. So yeah, light gold. We'll see how that looks. $999 for 256 gigabytes. So it takes the slot of the Pro phone price-wise and bumped up in storage.
That's a base storage, isn't it, for across the whole lineup? Everything is now the 256 minimum, and that's not a bad size, is it? I mean,
it's excellent. I think a lot of people who have pretty light needs are easily going to fit within 256 gigabytes.
Yeah,
I think that is one of the sleeper hits of the year, really.
Yeah. What do you think of the phone, Lewis? Were you tempted by it?
I thought that the way that they introduced it was brilliant. I loved the video that they had. Made me definitely want one immediately. Like it was just the whole like way that they made it look. Oh, it's so light that it floats, and it. I mean, that was a really great introduction. I mean, I complain about them doing these pre-recorded things, but that was pretty beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's tempting to get the phone just because who wouldn't like a more lightweight phone? I got the Pro in my back pocket all the time. It always feels like I got something substantial back there. Then again, the lack. I think the biggest thing for me is the lack of camera on the back. The new one has an 8x camera, right? And this thing has what, 2x? I mean, that's not much of a zoom. I kind of like having a zoom available. I mean, I regularly use a 5x zoom just to be able to read a bar menu, a beer menu in a bar. So, it's true. It's almost like a geriatric beer help.
5x zoom.
Yeah. I mean,
can you just hold the menu closer?
No, like, you go to one of these great bars like, Holy Water up here on Cortland. They've got the rotating taps, and they're all on little signs that are about the size of a license plate or something with little writing that explains what it is. If I'm standing if that bar is busy and I'm standing at the back, I have to use a 5x zoom to get, well, maybe not 5, but more than 2 to get a nice, and then you can see what the beers are. It's nice. So
that's a very specific use case.
Yeah, unfortunately, I use it a lot. But
right. Yeah. Well, but the cameras though are great, aren't they? I mean, in the 16E, I mean, you tested it out, Griffin.
Yeah, it's great so long as you don't want to zoom it in, but whenever you do, then you're just kind of at a loss. Yeah. I mean, I don't really lament the ultra wide too much. I know like a lot of Gen Z like the ultra wide camera, but I don't really use it too often. Honestly, I think it's kind of annoying when you're trying to take a regular picture of something like on a table and it switches to the ultra wide camera but zooms in and crops it and makes it uglier, like just because the main 1x lens doesn't have a very good like minimum focus distance. But like, yeah, the zoom, if you ever take like zoomed in pictures with the telephoto, like the 5X, that's really the biggest draw of this phone, in my opinion. I don't like how it doesn't have the telephoto zoom. I also don't like how it's even bigger than the regular one. I mean, I understand they have to maximize like the length and height of it to fit as big of a battery in it as they can. Like if they made it as, narrow and short as I wanted it, it would probably get like half the battery, but that's an unfortunate side effect.
Yeah. You want like a credit card size phone. But that's a good point. It is bigger than the Pro, like dimension wise.
And I really think that the current 6.3 inch size of the Pro is like, it's on the fence of being too big.
Right.
It is like just barely small enough to really be tolerable for someone who likes to use their phone one-handed. So although I'm very excited to like try it out, because I bet it will feel excellent in the hand just because of how thin it is. I guess I should also point out, it isn't quite as light as I think a lot of people were hoping. It is a little heavier. It's about the same weight as the iPhone 12, not the 12 Pro, but the iPhone 12, like the aluminum one from 2020. I was kind of expecting it to be a little lighter, but a lot of its volume is occupied by battery, and the battery is probably very dense in this thing. So
Yeah. I wish you could see this before you have to order it, especially for us, like, the pre-order types, the ones who have to get it straight away. I'm very sort of nervous about pulling the trigger before actually checking it out. Like you said, I think the screen size is one of the things that I prefer a smaller phone. Even though I'm using a Max Pro Max right now, I'd like to go smaller. And will that, will it make that much of a difference between 6.5 inches and 6.3 inches? Actually, probably it would, wouldn't it? Like smaller is better. But yeah, I definitely want to check it out before buying it. So it's a shame. I don't know what to do. I'm pre-orders start tomorrow, don't they? So I'm not gonna. I have no idea what I'm gonna order. No idea at all.
I mean, they keep an amount of stock in the store. So if you go, they have some reserved for the people who just walk in and want to try before they buy.
Yeah.
Right. Especially in San Francisco, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
If you go to your nearest Apple store, you can pick both of them up and see, oh yeah, I want this one more, or you'll be able to
true.
make that decision.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip the pre-ordering this year. Then I'll have to get up at 5 a.m.
Wow, that sounds appealing, actually. But
I think the ultimate question is the Air a better addition to the line, more valuable to the lineup than a potential 17 Plus would be? I mean, if you liked the Plus model because you just want the biggest screen without spending a lot of money, yeah, this doesn't really fill all of those requirements, and it probably has worse battery life than a 17 Plus would have had. But honestly, I think it's better because it diversifies the lineup much more. Instead of having 4 basically the same phones, you now have one that is markedly different, makes a completely different set of trade-offs, has a different philosophy to it. You ultimately have more choice now than I think you would have had before. So
It's actually exciting for the first time in a little while. There's an exciting new iPhone.
Right. And then of course, there was a lot of speculation that this is obviously a trial run for the folding phone coming next year. This is Apple, testing out the components, the design, the durability. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff they're going to learn over the next year or so before they trot out the iPhone. The supply chain, getting all the components lined up, making the manufacturing is all nice and clear. It's obviously a trial run for the folding phone.
And the thing about that is that like a folding phone would have to make fewer trade-offs than the Air had, just because it would have more surface area to work with, not just screen space, but also a folding phone would have room for the extra cameras on the back. It would have room for more speakers. The folding phone, although it'll fold into a mini iPad, will feel more like a premium Pro phone than this one will.
Yeah. I saw people you mentioned the stereo speakers. That people were losing their minds on the socials about the fact that it only has a mono speaker that doesn't have stereo speakers. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. Like who's going to pay that kind of money for a premium phone without stereo speakers? But like, when was the last time you used the speakers for anything except like maybe the ringtone or?
Young people will just play TikTok over their phone speaker as entertainment. So. That is actually a downside if you don't have AirPods and you just want.
Can you actually hear? Does there any stereo separation on the stereo speakers on?
I don't think they're complaining so much about stereo separation as they are about like it'll probably have lower volume and lower audio quality.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
It has only speakers at the top, right? Like where the ear.
Yeah.
It doesn't have them
only
at the
ear
bottom of the
speaker.
phone. And
No.
same thing. I think microphones are like only like less microphones, right? So I'm wrong. It has built-in microphones at the bottom and built-in microphone at the top.
Okay.
So,
So it has three.
three.
That's not that.
Yeah,
It's probably the same as the 17, honestly.
and one built-in speaker at the top and no speaker at the bottom.
People are also losing their mind about the off-center USB-C
Oh, right.
port. That
Yeah.
was causing a major meltdown.
Yeah. I mean, I'll admit I wasn't a fan of the off-center USB-C port when it was on the iPhone XR, but I think it's more obvious why it needs to be off-center this time, just because they have to make room for the screen on top of it, and they've only got a few millimeters of wiggle room to play with, so it makes a little more sense on this phone.
It kind of also makes. I wonder whether they'll ditch the port altogether on the folding phone. Surely that's a limiting factor, right? That's got to be one of the factors in determining how thin it is. And I wonder if you got rid of it, could you go much thinner?
Only one of the halves of the phone has to have the port on it. Maybe the other flipping part that flips out, or like the lid of it, is going to be even thinner than that.
Well, do you think it would be? Yeah, I
That'd be
would have
weird.
thought they would have been symmetrical, but maybe.
There's no reason why it has to be symmetrical.
True enough, right?
Yeah, it'd just feel weird in your hand if the two sides weren't the same thickness, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it would be completely lopsided, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be balanced.
Well, Apple doesn't have any problem making phones that are lopsided and when you sit them on a table anyways.
Right. Yeah. I saw people doing the wiggle test or whatever it is. They put it down on a flat surface, and of course the thing's wobbling everywhere like a weeble. Yeah, and the one thing. Did you talk about the price? $999.
$999 takes the spot of the 16 Pro.
Well, by the time you add the battery, though, it's actually going to be $1,100.
Same
isn't it?
price, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
wonder what percentage of people go ahead and put that in the bag.
And the strap.
85%. I don't know. I'll be very curious to see if the straps catch on.
Yeah, so I guess I should say I ordered a 17 Air to review, and I bought all the accessories: the battery, the strap, the clear case, the bumper case. It actually adds up to like what, $1,400 after tax. Like, these things are expensive.
Yeah. Well, Apple did a good job though, keeping prices. I think pretty in line with previous years this year. No big. There was only one price increase. In fact, well, I guess we're going to be talking about that now, right, Lewis? Let's move on to the 17 Pro.
Yeah, it's a big change this year. They overhauled the design completely. It's a unibody aluminum design, like they used to, or like with MacBooks. That's where they started those, right? The
Yeah.
MacBook unibody design.
And years ago, the first unibody MacBook was a good long
2008.
time ago.
And that was
Yeah.
I remember talking with you years ago about how the amazing innovation that was, making those unibody designs.
That was one of the rare times that they actually had Johnny Ive on stage for the introduction of that. And if you watch the keynote, because it was like a brand new concept, they were passing through different stages of unibody enclosures through the audience for them to hold and
Wow.
pass it along. It was
It was a big deal because of the manufacturing process. I mean, you need CNC machines to mill out from blanks, and these are super expensive. I mean, these machines cost, I think, up to $1 million each.
Yeah, and Apple had cornered the market on them, bought up the entire supply chain supply of these.
For a couple of years, and that was just for the Macs, and then even worse when they were doing iPhone stuff. So I think this explains why they haven't done it before.
You look at the bottom of a PC laptop from the mid 2000s, and it looks like you're looking at the bottom of a spaceship on Star Wars with all of the separate plastic panels and things that are sticking out at different levels. It was a genuine huge innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely.
Yeah, so now that comes to the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. It's got a bigger. I think the notes here say forged plateau. I think they actually said heat forged plateau, which sounds like it comes right from the middle of a volcano or something. Like the iPhone Air, this design pushes almost all the main components into the top of the phone, leaving a space for a big battery. Probably the biggest innovation, vapor chamber for heat dissipation, which Apple says will give 40% greater sustained performance. Very exciting.
I've seen a lot of people like arguing about how effective this would be because, well, the heat is still going to be in the phone. How much is it? And it's going to be absorbed by the case. But like, honestly, there are a few advantages to this. First of all, it spreads the heat out over a greater area, taking them away from like the 1 or 2 chips that get scaldingly hot on the inside. Also, I heard a theory that putting all of the components in the top half of the phone behind the heat forged plateau, a lot of cases probably aren't going to cover up the plateau. So if you have a chip that's like in that area, it's not going to be insulated by the case. That heat will be able to escape easier. And also putting all those components on the top where you're less likely to hold, it won't burn your hand and you won't notice as much.
Did you, how big is the vapor chamber? Did you, because I have to go back and look. I didn't pay attention. I didn't see it on the,
I don't remember
the event. But it looked like it was actually a pretty big component, wasn't it? Didn't it kind of like go down most of the phone?
Yeah, it looks like it's a good like half or 2/3 of the height of the phone.
And it's actually, well, there's a space inside, right, for the ionized water to move around.
I thought it was deionized water.
Oh, okay, yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
I remember seeing that. It's like, wow, it's an odd thing to mention.
Probably so that if it breaks, it doesn't like ruin the inside of the phone. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I wonder. There probably aren't that much different thermal properties between ionized and deionized water, is there? Yeah, but I wonder how much water is in there too. That's kind of intriguing, isn't it?
My question is, if you break your phone in a particular way, like if you stab it in the exact right position, is your phone is the water going to leak out? I'm really curious about this. They don't really explain. I mean, presumably, like there are a few things between it and the outside, like the MagSafe coils, or they weren't exactly clear on like where exactly it is inside the phone. But I'm very curious about how this works. The teardown is going to be very fascinating.
Well, wasn't this supposed to be the whole point of the the teaser, the thermal image that when
right.
it was supposed to be like a big, and then they showed when they were talking about it, they showed thermal images, which is what made me think it was a larger component because it looked like you could see the heat spreading almost down the whole body. But then I guess they didn't make that much of it either, really, did they? It was it was there and gone in like a second,
like every other thing. That thing was just a blazing fast. Looking at the site, it looks like it's like kind of an L-shaped thing. Looks like it's fairly large.
I mean, also just switching it from titanium to aluminum alone, I think aluminum conducts heat 20 times better than titanium. So, and people are saying, oh, well, they just tried to sell us on titanium. Now they're switching back to aluminum. Make up your minds. All of the decisions they're making around the Pro phones, making it more clear that the Pro phone is for Pro users and the, quote unquote desirable phone is now the Air. The Air is the fashion statement phone. So now it gets the flashy look and all that. The Pro phone is more of a utilitarian device with the utilitarian cameras, the less interesting looking material, like it's just aluminum, a choice being made in the interest of practicality.
Yeah. And I saw people complaining it was ugly.
I kind of agree. I mean, I don't really like that sort of two-tone back look. It doesn't to me look as good as previous versions.
It's just like regular, sandblasted aluminum, the same look that they have been making on their MacBooks for the last 20 years.
Just in case you were wondering, the vapor chamber, it's it's laser welded.
Ooh.
There are all these little details that they put in these descriptions. It just cracks me up. Anyway, let's see. What else is great about this thing? A19 Pro chip, same one as in the Air. Fastest CPU ever in a smartphone, according to Apple.
And it's a beast, isn't it? I mean, the benchmarks are crazy.
Yeah, what did they say? Something like it's MacBook level performance.
MacBook level graphics.
Oh, graphics.
The GPU got a huge boost in the A19 Pro.
And the Pro one has a slightly better GPU chip, right? The Air has one less GPU core.
Yeah.
The Pro one has a brighter display with a peak of 3,000 nits. Let's see. It's got the same center stage front camera as all the other phones.
Wait, hang on. Before we move too far past the benchmarks, We just actually
Oh,
published this
right.
article yesterday. Looks like about a 14% CPU improvement, 17 Pro versus 16 Pro, but a 40% better graphics improvement, 17 Pro to 16 Pro. Like single generation, 40% better graphics on the Geekbench 6 metal test, which is a pretty huge leap. You know, that's what we've heard. The M5 isn't going to be very impressive. This is like the third iteration of the same 3 nanometer process. It's not going to be as big of a leap, at least CPU wise. Graphics, huge leap.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
nutty. Let's see. First improvement to telephoto sensor in years. 48 megapixels now. 4x optical zoom, but crops into optical 8x zoom. I never quite understand any of this. This deep photographic stuff.
That's got to be a sleight of hand. Optical 8, if it crops in, how can it be 8 and optical 8x zoom when it's actually not 8x?
I think they said optical quality is what they said.
Yeah, they say optical quality. The deal is like the sensor is high enough resolution that because the whole sensor is 48 megapixels in resolution, so you can quote unquote zoom in on the sensor to get a regular 12 megapixel photo from the middle that'll be as if you zoomed in. So this is actually pretty clever.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw some test shots, you know, from the event, and someone had zoomed in to the Apple HQ, and it was amazing. I mean, they look really, really detailed.
I mean, honestly, like the biggest problem with the current camera system in the 16 Pro is that there's a big gap between the 2X and the 5X. What they've done is they've, you know, unzoomed the lens a little bit down to 4X so that you have less of a gap. You know, now you can zoom into 2X with quote unquote optical quality and then jump to 4X. But then once you're at 4X, you can freely zoom in and out just like you can on the main lines up to 8X, which is pretty insane. And I think they let you like digital zoom all the way up to like, you know, 12X or 20X or something insane like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. Do you think it's misleading when they say optical quality 8x zoom? I guess, you know, if it says optical quality, I guess that's okay.
Yeah, optical quality if you only want to take a 12 megapixel picture and only look at it on your iPhone, but you know, you're not going to be blowing up an 8x picture on like and hang it on your wall.
Right,
at
poster
size.
Yeah. Still, they look like fantastic cameras, and it's how many camera sensors does it have now?
Still three on the back and one on the front. They talk about it like, oh, it's like you're carrying around 8 lenses in your pocket. No, not really, but sure.
Yeah, let's see. Everybody's going to love this. 18% bigger battery, supposedly 8 hours extra battery life. I suppose that's probably on the video streaming metric that they like to use.
8 hours is huge, isn't it? That's a big jump.
Oh, yeah.
256 gigabytes is now the entry level, and that comes with a $100 price increase, which is just heartbreaking. So what they
That's not too bad. It's not too bad, is it?
It depends on how you voted in the predictions game. So now the entry level Pro is $1,099.
Oh, another note about the battery. You know, the battery is slightly bigger. If you're in the land of the free, the United States of America, the space where they previously had the eSIM is now a little more battery.
Why don't they do eSIMs in other countries? That's only US and EU, right? Any idea why they don't have eSIM in Asia? And
a lot of carriers across the world don't have eSIM support yet.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, why anybody wouldn't want an eSIM, I can't understand. I mean, I love the eSIMs, and but for instance, last time I went over to Europe, I bought an eSIM like through some, you know, not through a carrier. Usually, when I would go to Italy, I would get a SIM card from, you know, a company there, and they would be much cheaper, better coverage, whatever. But eSIMs, I don't know, they've come a long way, and you can get a decent price on them. You know, you shop around a little, you do all the installation here at your house, and wherever you land, you just flip it on. It's fantastic. Way better than trying to change it in, you know, an airport restaurant table or something after you've been through, you know, 8-hour flight. Yeah, where's the little thing? Yeah, right. It's just terrible. So eSIMs are awesome. Yeah, and the fact that I like having a bigger battery too. So
Another difference, U.S. phones versus global phones, is that the U.S. phones have the millimeter wave antenna on the top edge of the phone, where it's not really visible in any Apple product shots, but like people in the hands-on area were taking pictures of these. There's like this weird, like miscolored, like plastic cement on the top. And And my theory is that that explains away the bizarre rumor we had like a month ago that's like the iPhone's
right.
going to get a second camera control on the top. Like,
Right.
that doesn't make any sense. That
Yeah.
cutout is probably for the millimeter wave antenna.
Yeah.
And you said that's
yeah.
only in U.S. models?
I don't know if that's in US and Europe models, but because I'm an American and America is the only country that matters to
I
me.
see.
But
What else was there to say? I mean, my eyes glazed over when they were talking about all the video stuff. You know, what do you know? It's got a better video camera, better everything camera, everything, just everything better. And I think what you're saying about this being more of like a pro utilitarian thing, I think that goes right through to the design. It doesn't look as, in my opinion, it doesn't look as, nice and polished and finished as previous versions. They made it look slightly more like a tool, which is what it is. And if you, talk about, they didn't talk about the Final Cut camera app during the thing at all. I don't think they mentioned it during the event, right? They sent out a press release later in the day, and oh my God, you read it, it's like it was written for, some Hollywood film technology website or something. I didn't. I had to look up so many words. I punted it. I'm like, nobody cares about this except for people who are making movies with these phones, which is increasing number of people, and they just keep getting better. And what was it? ProRes RAW. They shoot now.
Raw, yeah, crazy.
ProRes RAW, and
It's probably about a gigabyte every second, or 50 gigs or something. It's crazy.
But I mean, these are legitimate cameras that people use to make legitimate movies these days. So, and again, as I say all the time, I'll probably end up buying one, and I'll probably won't use a tenth of its features, and I'll just think about, wow, I could be making a movie with this phone. But instead, I'm taking a picture of my sushi at a restaurant, right?
I was talking with Sam about this. Like, what do we think Apple considers to be like the flagship, like mainline phone ever since they first bifurcated with like the iPhone 10 and iPhone 8, and later like iPhones Pro and iPhone 11? I think it's clear that like this is the first time Apple doesn't consider the Pro phone to be the flagship phone. I think the flagship phone of the lineup is now the Air, and Apple considers the Pro to be like the niche production device for this exact reason. We have new cases. The Tech Woven case, quote, features a new technical woven fabric. That's just a completely made up phrase that uses multiple colored yarns. Like what? Does every Apple Watch band that now has multiple colored yarns, is that also now a technically woven band? Creating a dimensional texture and depth of color, while a protective coating provides resistance to scratches and stains. So we'll see about that.
I saw people scratching it on the hands-on area, and there was no sign of any of that, leaving blemishes. It does look a lot more durable. But hold on, we didn't talk about the colors of these
I
phones.
just was going to say.
Because that's probably, what do you think of the orange, the cosmic orange?
Oh, my God. I've been looking at a bunch of the images on their site, and it kind of varies. Some of them almost make it look like it's actually orange. I just saw one now. Looks very bronze. God, I'm so tempted. I mean, a bright orange iPhone is what I've wanted for years. That's what I've been hoping for. And I see it, and it's like, pretty sure if I ordered that, I'm going to open it up and go, it's brown.
Well, some of the videos from the hands-on area made it look pretty, under the big intense lights at the Steve Jobs Theater, pretty bright and pretty colorful.
Orangish?
Yeah.
Would you say it looks more orange than bronze?
I'd say it looks pretty orange. Pretty it kind of reminds me of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's that kind of industrial orange.
International orange.
International
I haven't seen
orange,
any
yeah.
pictures that make it look like bronze or dark.
There's one that's, not dark, but just more of a brown orange. Yeah, if you look at, for instance, there's a picture of a Tech Woven case. It's got the plateau sticking out of it, and it's in a brown case. This is like, to me, this is the most incriminating is not the right word, but I think the most like probably, it's not going to be the bright orange that I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I see. It's a little darker in the corner. Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, the thing is, like the regular iPhone colors, the ones that are actually bright that we've been like, oh, why don't they bring these colors to the Pros? Like those have been pretty unambiguously bright, maybe like 10% less bright than the Apple product photos. But I mean, those in the wild, like an ultramarine iPhone 16 looks ultramarine. So
Yeah,
maybe I'm a little confident. I think it's mostly to like the brown tech woven case that might be like bringing it down to your eyes. But
yeah.
honestly, I love the brown tech woven case. I'm genuinely sad that they're not making it for the iPhone 16 Pro, because I'm going to stick with my iPhone 16 Pro personally. I wish I had a brown case like that. It looks gorgeous.
Ah, God, I just I suppose I could spray paint the thing.
Yeah. So we have the bright orange. We have a dark blue. I'm curious how
That dark blue
it'll
looks
look.
nice. I think that's a really nice looking color.
That one I'm concerned about, honestly, because
Oh, really?
a lot of their dark blues, like the midnight, or I don't know what they call it, like the dark blue MacBook Air that they made, it basically looks like dark gray. You know, I'm a little less confident that is going to be as blue as colorful as Apple's product shots. No black, but we just have silver, which got a lot of people in a twist.
Right. Yeah. First time for a long ever, right? They've never had a black
Yeah,
Pro
yeah.
model.
And the silver isn't as white. I don't think it's as white as the, previous silver phones have been. It's more of a neutral silver, like sort of just, regular unadorned Apple silver, which I'm really happy about, because again, I've been saying actually this for years. I wish Apple made a black and silver phone, not black with black aluminum, not black with white aluminum, like, black and unadorned silver. If I were getting a Pro, that's honestly what I would get. But
yeah, I thought the silver looked good too. The silver looks nice.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice looking.
I think a lot of people who are disappointed that there isn't a black color will actually enjoy the silver more than they were thinking they would.
If you look at them all three side by side, though, the silver and the orange definitely look two-tone. Like the glass insert in the back. We didn't really go over this, right? We said unibody design, but there's a lot more aluminum to this phone than there was titanium to the other ones, right? And the whole back is glass for the wireless charging. And if you look at the silver and the orange, the glass insert is definitely lighter and a different shade than the body. The blue one, it almost looks in this, one product shot. God knows what it looks like in person. But it actually looks more like a single color rather than this weird two-tone look that I'm frankly not that crazy about. So
I think it looks cool, honestly.
the two-tone?
Yeah, yeah. I think Apple's product shots maybe blend the colors closer together than I've seen in actual pictures people have taken. But I think it's kind of neat how they haven't gone to like their insane Apple lengths to like make it look like completely seamless. I think it makes the back look a little interesting.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would just be like a giant slab of the same color, and I think
Right.
If
I like it. I like it a lot. I think they look really nice.
if that color had like deep speckles and things, make it look glittery, then I'd be more. I'm like a fish. Like I need a glittery fish hook.
Well, maybe you get one of those glitter cases that my wife has. Where it has all the glitter that moves around inside.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is it deionized water though? I need to know.
No, I don't think it's deionized.
So they got tech woven. They also have silicone cases again in a interesting kind of array of colors. One of them being terracotta, which is very brown, neon yellow, which doesn't look as yellow as the current yellow, in which I have and love, purple fog, midnight and black, but also orange. And that orange case actually looks legit, straight up like bright orange. Mm-hmm. So maybe you put that on the orange phone. It covers up the to my eye unattractive two-tone glass back. You got a bright orange case. You got an orange plateau. You're all orange.
Mm-hmm. And we should say that the crossbody strap, accessory that they're selling, comes in color matched options that match not just the iPhone Air, but all of the phones and all of the case colors. So if you're interested in that, you don't have to feel held back.
You can. Oh, and what that? Do those only work with the tech woven cases?
They work with the tech woven cases, and the clear case, I think, has the holes on the bottom as well.
Got it.
You're going all in on the strap. It's all right. Let's talk about the iPhone 17, the base model, which I thought was probably, which I was kind of the most impressed. Oh, actually, I don't know, not the most impressed, but I was impressed by this one too. This one had a lot of surprising things. So starting with the display, which is 6.3 inches. It's got thinner bezels, and it's like the prior iPhone 16 Pro, but it is now 120 megahertz, right? Which people had complained about forever, that the
Right.
basic iPhone only had a 60 hertz screen, and now it's like it's bumped way up. And the screen now gets ProMotion. It's always on. It goes up to 3,000 nits. It looked, kind of amazing. Pretty big bump, I thought, in specs from the previous generation. It also has a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, just like the 16 Pro. And the same center stage front camera, just like the rest of the lineup. Also, Ceramic Shield 2, and it has now 5 extra hours of battery life from the previous model. So they've also bumped up the battery life. And 50% faster wired charging, which I guess is pretty good. You can go to from 0 to 50% in, 20 minutes?
Something insane like that, yeah.
Yeah, pretty quick. So if you need to top it up real quick, plug it into a wire. Don't use the wireless charging. And the same price, $799 for 250, starting at 256 gigabytes. And I think if you look at the whole overall package, this is a fucking crazy good deal.
It made the least headlines, but honestly, this is going to be the sleeper hit of the lineup. This is an insane value.
I think so. True enough. Yeah, I know. Almost no drawbacks, and totally blows away if you compare it to the new Samsungs or other Android phones. It's got way better specs. And of course, you've got all the Apple advantages, the Apple ecosystem, the Apple software. It looks like a really fabulous handset. And this is another one that threw me through a loop. Maybe I should go just for a regular iPhone this year and not get a Pro model for the first time ever, or the Air. I'm actually really tempted by this one as well. So now it's a three-way race. I have absolutely no idea what to get at all.
Just buy them all. See which one you like. Pretend you're trying out shoes from Zappos or something.
And send back, two of them, keep one. Although I did do that in the past once actually, and I ended up with 2 phones. I ended up keeping both of them. And then one of them I never used.
You got to beware the 2-week window.
Right, true enough. Yeah, it looks like a really, really good. This is going to be the sleeper hit, I think. And do you know what the numbers are that in terms of sales? Like
No.
how many?
Apple stopped breaking out those numbers years ago. Sadly, we don't really know, but it's the regular the entry level iPhone that they continue selling for years afterwards at lower prices. They discontinue the Pros after a year. They'll probably do that with the Air as well. But the iPhone 16 entry level model is still for sale today at a lower price, and the 17 is going to be that same way too. So this is the one that people walk into an AT&T store and say, "Give me an iPhone." This is the one they'll probably be given, and honestly, they'll get a really great iPhone because the biggest downside before was the lack of ProMotion and always on, and now you have that too. 3,000 nits outdoors. That's a big change that all of the phones get this year. That's huge. You'll be able to see your phone perfectly clear on the brightest summer day for about a minute before it dims it again because it gets too hot. But
it's also got anti-reflective coating now, right? Too, across the board. So that was also I think getting a lot of praise. The anti-reflective coating is actually really pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of brushed past that. I think it was only Cayenne Drance who mentioned it once in the whole event. But I'm excited to see how that works out because that'll be a huge improvement because the phone won't have to get as bright for you to see it legibly if it's not so reflective. So that could be a big thing. And if you don't like the look of the giant plateau, well, the iPhone 17 doesn't have it. It's just the 2 cameras on that edge. So there you go.
And what are you really losing? You're losing the zoom, and you have a slightly inferior chip, A19 rather than A19 Pro.
Yeah, which is basically an A19 Pro, except it's binned a little bit. Really not a very big difference this year between the 2 chips.
Yeah, so very, it's Apple did this a lot with a lot of their lineups of just making the entry-level thing almost as good as the most expensive thing. It's kind of shocking.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, all the recent entry level products I've been really impressed by. iPad, Apple Watch SEs a pretty amazing value. Yeah, they offer great value. I think at the low end. I mean, really good. They're not really, on this one especially. It's not. There's no massive drawback, is there, that would really put you off.
In terms of colors, we have black, white, green, blue, and purple. They're a little more muted than the previous year, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I was a little. I was surprised there wasn't something as cool as the ultramarine last year.
Yeah, the colors I think are a little bit of a step down. There's no pink, but there is purple, which is a pretty good color.
The green is like mint green or sage green or something.
Do you know anyone who has got a green phone? Kermit the Frog.
I wouldn't be opposed to a green phone.
And the image they have on the website, that looks like marijuana.
Where?
If you look on Apple's website for the iPhone 17, they have a big picture.
Oh yeah, it is kind of like floral in the middle, isn't it?
It's more than floral. It's marijuana. That's totally a cannabis leaf reflected. This is the stoner crowd they're going for sure.
Oh, come on. Oh, I see it. It just flashed across my screen.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's a good looking phone though, isn't it? I love that camera array. The two cameras, the one on top of each other.
Yeah, it's got the camera control, which maybe with another year I can figure out how to use.
I actually heard that when you're setting up a brand new phone now, it's already like this even in iOS 18. When you're setting up a brand new phone, there's a new setup screen that asks you about the camera control and asks you how you want to use it. And the default option is to just use it as a button that without any of the swipey or clicky or half pressy fancy gestures.
Yeah. That's the worst thing about it. I mean, as a button, it works great. But if you half press it and you get into that horrible hell of all the settings, it's a nightmare because then I can never figure out how to get out of it without quitting the app.
Yeah, so apparently Apple's like walking it back in software. We'll see if their hardware is like years designed in advance. So we'll see if maybe the iPhone 18 or 19 actually change how the physical button works, but they're already sort of toning it down.
Yeah, and someone pointed out that they didn't mention camera control once, I don't think, during the whole keynote, did they? And they weren't even using it when they showed people taking pictures with their new phones. They were using the on-screen button, not the hardware button.
Wow.
Yeah, these look awesome. I think these look really good. It's what a great lineup of products, phones this year. And I saw some on Twitter, completely unverified, of course, but people were saying that. Pre-orders were 3 times, or interest, or I can't remember what they meant. It couldn't be pre-orders because they haven't gone live yet. But the interest, something in China was like 3 times they were for last year's iPhone 16 lineup.
I think I saw that same tweet.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that the market in China is very heavy on having something that looks new, having a new design. Barring the regular iPhone 17, the Pros and the Airs both are easily identifiable as, oh, you have the new iPhone, and I can bet that could be a big reason why. Honestly, after years of having pretty similar looking phones, it sounds like the next few years are going to be a few years of dramatically new things in a row. There's this year, next year they'll have the folding phone. The year after that, supposedly the Pro phones are going to have this edge to edge glass that'll wrap around a little bit. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Like you said, the new design is definitely driving a lot of interest. Let's move on to our other sponsor this week, Factor. Lewis, tell us about Factor.
Factor. If you haven't tried it, it's a great way to get a great meal. If you're super busy, all you do is you've got these things in your refrigerator, not frozen, your refrigerator. You toss them in the microwave. 4 or 5 minutes later, you got a perfectly prepared dish of delicious food. It's kind of shocking. I think we've talked about this in the past. It tastes like a perfectly done steak, a perfectly cooked piece of fish, a juicy chicken breast. Of course, I go for the carnivore-centric ones when I order them, but chef-prepared meals that are dietitian approved. They've got more than 65 weekly meals. That's just perfect. You can get any kind of types of selections you want. They have global flavors. I've never tried these ones. Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and other fantastic cuisines. It's perfect. Like if you got to do a podcast or something, right? You're looking at, oh my God, the podcast starts in 20 minutes. I've run down and nuked a Factor meal and been ready to go. Eat smart at factormeals.com/cultcast50 off and use code cultcast50 off to get 50% off your first box. Plus, get this, free breakfast for 1 year. That's that's code cultcast50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. This is a new edition. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
All right, AirPods 3. This one was super exciting. I was like totally blown away by these. Griffin, tell us about it.
Updated AirPods Pro 3. They feature, quote, the best noise cancellation of any in-ear wireless headphones, according to Kate Bergeron, thanks to a, quote, custom multi-port acoustic architecture, whatever that is. They had some cool animations of like things flowing in and out of the AirPods through like the ventricle ports and vents and things, and foam infused ear tips. So they have foam on the inside of them, I guess, for more sound absorption, like those fancy podcasting like foam panels that they have, but inside your ear.
Yeah, a lot of people use those foam ones. I mean, that's one of the biggest upgrades of AirPods anyway, isn't it? People buy foam ones, the kind of ones that you sort of
like those
squish between your fingers before you stuff them in your ears.
Comply ear tips.
Yeah, they've got foam on the inside, so you don't have to deal with the squishiness or gunkiness, but you still have like the same nice rubber on the inside. And they give you more of them in the box. They now have 5 different sets of ear tips. I think they have a new extra small size for people with smaller ears. I have the opposite problem. Apparently, my ears are pretty big, and I guess my right ear is larger than my left ear. So, like the old wired earbuds, they would constantly fall out of my ears because like the weight of the cord was too heavy, and also like the earbuds weren't filling the space, and especially the right one. Like it was impossible for me I'd have to stand still as a statue to keep those things in my ears. So, AirPods Pro are sadly what I need. As disgusting as my earwax is. But, no one's going to be sharing them, luckily. They claim twice the noise canceling power of the prior models, and also 4 times the noise canceling power of the original ones, and 4 times the power as the AirPods 4 with ANC. So a lot of strong noise reduction in these new ones.
That, I think, is going to be pretty huge, isn't it, if that's true? Because they're already pretty good.
And I was wondering how much of that is due to the new ear tips and how much of it is due to some, software magic. They didn't necessarily break that out.
These have the same chip inside them as the old ones, still the H2 chip. So I imagine a lot of it is down to the physical design. They've just figured out how to engineer more sound canceling out of them. And that's great because my biggest use, I wear like generic Bluetooth earbuds all the time, but my biggest use case for noise cancellation is when I'm mowing my lawn. I've got like a big loud gas push mower, and I've got to turn on noise canceling and still turn the volume up pretty high. I bet I could probably, save my ears a lot more with these. So I'm looking forward to that. We have more battery life thanks to their mysterious new battery technology. 8 hours of battery life with active noise cancellation, which I think is up from 6 hours. And 10 hours of battery life when you're using them as hearing aids, which I think is up from 4. So much longer battery life when you're in transparency mode there. They're more dust and water resistant. They've got IP57 rating on them, which is pretty neat.
Good enough for gym workouts, right? For sure, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah. Of course, the headlining feature, built-in heart rate monitoring, sort of like the Powerbeats Pro 2. My understanding is the Powerbeats Pro 2 aren't very accurate in terms of heart rate, so I'm kind of curious if this is maybe like better in some way. It does look like the monitors, it might have been just because they blew up the AirPod big on the screen, but it kind of looks like the heart rate sensor is bigger on this than it is on the Powerbeats Pro 2, and that might make it more accurate just by virtue of
I think
bigger.
the foam tips will contribute to that, to the accuracy, because it'll keep them more in space. Like I think some of the criticism I saw was that if they're bouncing around inside your ear canal, it can't keep the sort of connection with your skin, and they can't read the heart rate properly. So you get better reading when it's kept more firmly in your ear. And I was wondering whether, as soon as I heard about the foam tips, I was wondering, I wonder if that has something to do with trying to improve heart rate accuracy as well as sound isolation.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, the heart rate monitoring is only useful really if you don't have an Apple Watch and you have or especially if you have like an Android phone or something like that, and it's the only way of getting your heart rate. If you're not like on gym equipment. I wonder how if I'll be able to directly compare that heart rate monitor to like my Apple Watch. I wonder if I can run both simultaneously and see.
Well, you could if you connect it to different devices for sure.
Oh yeah, that's true. I might do that. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah,
because I really am curious how accurate they are. Because the Apple Watch has got just like a much better read on your wrist. We'll see.
Well, they say Apple itself says if you're wearing an Apple Watch and these earbuds, it'll preference the watch, which isn't a good sign. That makes it sound like the watch is going to be more accurate. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we've got live translation. They've got a new gesture for this. You touch and hold. They didn't explain it, but they did show it in the video where they show somebody like touching both of the AirPods simultaneously to activate it.
It's my God, this is crazy stuff. This is like science fiction madness. I mean, could you ever believe a few years ago that you would get this? You could stick a babblefish in your ear and it would give you like translate on the fly what someone is saying to you in a foreign language.
Yeah, pretty insane. And it's really clever how it works in tandem with the active noise cancellation, so that it tones down what the person is saying in a foreign language so that you hear the translation better. It's pretty insane. I'm really curious to test this out as well, because I have a few friends who speak French, and so I want to try it out with them.
Yeah. This is going to be super exciting. Of course, the one weird thing is that if the person you're talking to doesn't have AirPods Pro, they have no way to translate what you're saying. So it'll transcribe it and put it on your phone so you can show them.
Yeah.
Hi. Here's what I just said. It's kind of wild. I mean, I could see this going horribly wrong, though. I mean, like, what if a translation isn't quite right? It's kind of weird, taking that person's voice and muting it down and just having this weird robot voice in your head telling you what they said. I mean, that looked great in the video. I'll be very curious to see how it works in real life.
Right.
It's insane. It only works with a small number of languages. I think French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish.
No, Spanish wasn't one of them. Spanish is coming.
It didn't.
Yeah, no. I was surprised by that too.
Huh.
But Spanish is not one of the initial ones.
I wanted to do like, Tagalog or, Japanese, some language that's like you don't have even a single clue what the person is saying. I mean,
or Vietnamese, that even if you know the language, it takes like years of learning how to enunciate and pronounce everything exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, that would, if they can get this to work in all these languages eventually, although even the Translate app is fairly limited still at this point. I can't remember exactly how many languages.
Google Translate, how many, they offer quite a lot of languages.
Yeah, they have a ton. They have a ton. It's much, much, much broader than Apple Translate currently.
Apple Translate, I think, is only like 20 or 30 languages. But
I thought it was even lower, like 14 or 20 or something. But again, that looked great on the screen. I'll be very curious to see how it works. I mean, especially the thing like what you're saying, like if you both have AirPods Pro, you just like talking to each other through your earbuds somehow.
Robots,
robots talking to each other.
That's insane.
Super uncanny and weird. But if it works, I mean, hey, especially if you like don't have any idea what the language is, it could be fantastic. Although the interactions in the video were kind of corny too, like, everybody's like, it's so natural to just be talking to somebody on their phone. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Here's my flower shop. These flowers are 50% off.
Right. How much are the geraniums? How much are the geraniums?
It says Google Translate offers 249 languages, while Apple Translate supports 19.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's really, it's deficient.
Yeah. And I actually don't know if they specify, like it supports those languages, but does it support all of them between each other or just those to English and back? That's another question. Because the thing is, like, the more languages you add, you then it becomes more work to add each individual language, because then you have to make sure it's language to all of the other languages. So
I think it. Well, no, actually, I don't know because I've only ever tried to go English to other languages. So
The buds are a little smaller. The AirPods Pro 2 were a little more like bigger and angular. These ones are a little more rounded, kind of closer in shape to the AirPods 4. So it's interesting how they're tweaking that still. The buds are a little smaller. The case is ever so slightly larger.
what the?
Yeah.
That's weird
like-
as can be.
A few like fractions of a millimeter in like each dimension. I've heard a lot of people like complain about the relatively large size of the case.
Is it solid state now? Because there was a lot of talk about they're going to lose the button and make it a solid state button, and if you wanted the pairing, you're going to have to tap on it. But I didn't see any mention of that. So
It probably is because that's how the AirPods 4 work.
the same button then, the same design rather on the Pro case.
I think so, but I haven't confirmed that. I'll take a look.
This one was an instant buy for me. I mean, no question about it. Partly because my other ones had really fallen to pieces, but yeah, there's no question these things are great. And I was testing them out, trying to figure out whether which sounded better, the Powerbeats Pro or the mild AirPods Pro 2, and it's definitely AirPods Pro 2.
And they say that the AirPods Pro 3, I guess we didn't mention, I didn't put it in the notes here, but they supposedly sound even better. They say it has like a wider sound stage, which is, how big the stereo sounds when you're listening to music. Broader range, more bass. So,
Yeah, better bass, yeah.
and again, same $249 price. So, heck of an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tempting one for me, and I am perfectly happy with my AirPods Pro 2. I don't want the batteries to go bad on them. I don't want to lose one down a drain. I don't want anything like that to happen. But it's a little hard to like get rid of them, because they're just fine. But I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, the new ones, I guess we should mention this. The new ones have the same H2 chip in them. So I can't imagine these having like the AirPods Pro 2 had such staying power. Apple kept adding more features to them over the years. I don't see the AirPods Pro 3 being like that long lasting or, continuous improvement after the product is out because it has the same chip in it. Like, for example, the live translation feature is also coming to the old AirPods Pro 2 as well.
Right.
That's not exclusive to these.
Yeah.
That was another thing that it's like, well, maybe I'll just wait. But, it's appealing that they're slightly smaller and the ear tips, it sounds like they might be more comfortable.
Honestly, I'd say if you have Pro 2 and they still work, don't bother upgrading
Yeah.
to the Pro 3. Wait for them to break first.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Funny, AirPods Max, not one peep. No update to that.
Let's move on to products Apple still cares about, the Apple Watch.
Right, exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Tell us about that Series 11, Lewis.
Apple
Yeah.
Watch Series 11 comes with the hypertension alerts and 24-hour battery life. That's like maybe the biggest but most mundane boost, as opposed to 18. It's always been 18 hours. Now through some battery re-engineering or whatever, they're now able to squeeze out 24 hours of battery life, which means it definitely will get you through the day. They also added 5G cellular connectivity, which, blah, blah, blah. 5G is just faster. And I don't know. Honestly, Graham, our resident Apple Watch expert, was like absolutely over the moon thrilled 5G cellular connectivity. And I was like, well, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. But, I have one Apple Watch. Well, actually, the Ultra has cellular connectivity. But I don't pay to have a second line on my Apple Watch because I take my phone with me everywhere. But I realized after talking with Graham, it's like he goes on these 5-mile runs every day, right? And well, not every day or whatever, but oftentimes he works out a lot, and so he doesn't want to carry his phone when he goes out running, so he uses cellular. He's like, it's insane that they've only had LTE until now. So he's super psyched about it. If you're one of those people who is in shape, has a better lifestyle than me, you might be thrilled about this.
Honestly, 5G, whatever. But Apple says that it'll actually get better cell coverage and better power efficiency. So,
Yeah.
hey, even if you don't care about 5G, that,
Right.
I'll take that.
That's probably where some of the battery stuff is coming in, maybe.
That's what Graham was saying too. But then again, it's 24-hour battery life for everyone, right? Even non-cellular models. So anyway,
Yeah.
much more durable, 4 times more crack-resistant glass.
They don't call it ceramic shield, but they do describe it in a virtually identical way. They said it is a custom Apple designed ceramic coating that bonds to the glass at an atomic level. But for some reason, they don't call it ceramic shield,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah, and back to the hypertension thing. I mean, to me, this was like the marquee feature. I thought very interested in it. This is a quote from Dr. Sumbul Ahmad Desai, Apple's VP of Health. She says, using data from the optical heart sensor, which by the way is another Apple Watches, using data from the optical heart sensor, the algorithm looks for chronic high blood pressure by analyzing how your blood vessels respond to beats of the heart. The algorithm works in the background, reviewing data over 30-day periods and will notify you if it identifies patterns of hypertension. This is like all the other, not all the, like many of the other Apple Watch health things. It's monitoring what's going on in the background. It's saying, hey, you might have a problem. Hey, you might have sleep apnea because we've looked at your sleep patterns for the past 7 days and it seems as if this. Or, hey, your heartbeat seems high. Maybe you should check this out. And I think Apple's guidance on this is if you get one of these alerts, you should go out and buy a cuff, a blood pressure cuff, and actually check to see if you have a problem.
Yeah. I think a lot of us were imagining, like when we heard these rumors, like, oh, for them to add blood pressure monitoring, it'd probably only be on the Apple Watch. And I think we even heard rumors that like Apple developed like a special watch band like that inflated on your wrist. Like, no, this isn't
It cuts off the circulation to your hand.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. This is like science fiction, like analyzing how your blood vessels respond to beats of the heart and they can detect hypertension. That's insane.
It is. Cool. It is. It's madness. It's absolutely madness. And this, they're hoping to get 1 million people in the first year, right? After they put this in. Well, it's called the silent killer because it's asymptomatic. You don't know you've got it until you have a horrible stroke or a massive heart attack, and then oh god, you've got high blood pressure. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure last year, and I'm taking daily medication to manage it. It's for me, I think it's genetic, maybe a bit of lifestyle too, but mine was really alarming. It went up in a couple of years, like super high. And luckily, the doctor noticed it because, every time you go to the doctor, they take your blood pressure with a cuff. And he'd seen that it was going up for a couple of years, but I had no idea I had it. It didn't affect my bike riding, nothing. Very, very glad that I'm trying to manage it. And for most people, they'd have no idea they've got it. I think this is massive, huge contribution to health monitoring, really, really useful. And it's the leading cause of heart attacks and strokes, affecting I think 1.3 billion people a year.
Yeah, and kidney problems. Yeah, 1.3 billion is what the World Health Organization says.
Yeah, and they really played when they introduced the Apple Watch segment. They really played it up like, if you don't buy an Apple Watch, you will die. Like, but you know what? Saving 1 million lives. They've earned the right to play ads like that,
Yeah, right. And that was a really compelling section of the ear dropping event. When people talk about how their lives have been saved by the Apple Watch. And it's true. It's amazing. It really is true. This thing will save your life in many different ways. Not just detecting hypertension, but also fall detection, crash detection, being able to pinpoint you if you're out in the wilderness. I mean, satellite connectivity, satellite madness. It connects with satellites, spinning 200 miles above the Earth.
Well. The Ultra does, not this one.
The Ultra, bigger one, yeah. So not this one.
Yeah, but I mean, I was excited about the hypertension thing, and in fact, I on the verge of buying one of these watches or pre-ordering one, and then I realized that the hypertension thing is also coming to Apple Watch Ultra 2 and other older models like Series 9, Series 10. So. My marquee feature of this one, but also available as a free gift to you from Apple, which I think is awesome. I mean, the fact that they are turning this on so that everybody who has, what is the last 3 years of Apple Watches can take advantage of it. I think it's fantastic. It's Apple admits it can't detect all cases of hypertension, of course, and they always kind of not downplay, all this stuff because it's not a medical device, although it's, Food and Drug Administration clearance is expected, quote, soon, supposedly rolling out in 150 countries. I mean, that's going to be a great thing. And I like you said, Apple says they expect, 1 million people will, with undiagnosed hypertension will identify that they have a problem in the first year, which is kind of a huge number, and if it's true, that's fantastic. Especially if you can make lifestyle changes or take medication that can, quote
It's
unquote,
highly
fix
treatable,
it.
highly treatable. Yeah.
But you can't treat it if you don't know about it, right? So,
Right.
like you said, 24-hour battery life, which works great because now it's easier to wear it all day and all night, and it's got this new sleep score thing that they're rolling out in watchOS 26. That also works in older watches, but
That actually works back as far as the Series 6.
wow, yeah, and so that's gonna tell you how well you slept last night and how ready you are for the day, and explain things to you like, oh well, you'd had a higher score if for instance, you had not stayed up till 2 a.m. or whatever.
At the bar.
Right.
Zooming in on the drink menu.
Right, yeah. Let's see. 2 new watch faces, Flow, which is kind of like liquid glass lava lamp look, and Exactograph. Aluminum models, as per usual. They come in silver, space black, and gold, and space gray. Titanium models come in silver, gray, and gold. Let's see. Yeah.
Isn't it polished titanium?
Yeah.
So they all have
Is
that
it polished?
kind of.
I didn't notice that.
They have that kind of. They're pretty shiny, kind of chromy looking.
Yeah. They've brought back space gray on the aluminum ones, like the matte gray. And this is maybe like the lightest, I want to say it looks like one of the lightest space grays they've ever done. Because it's not like the old one, which was like, very dark gray. It's like barely darker silver.
Do you think it looks good? Does it look a nice looking color?
No, just get the silver, honestly. But it replaces Starlight, which was like virtually unidentifiable from silver. So who knows?
So there's space black and space gray.
Space black is the polished one, kind of like the jet black iPhone. Space gray is literally like 10% darker silver. I don't know why they're doing it.
Interesting.
Nice looking watches though, aren't they? I mean, very
yeah.
thin, nice big screen. I love the way the screen sort of curves over the top. Is it the same? Do they use the same coating in as the Ultra? Because this thing hasn't got a scratch on it, despite me, blundering into all kinds of stuff and falling over. I mean, it doesn't have a mark on it. I mean, even my older watches don't have a mark on them. They are durable as heck.
I've got a few like corner scratches like around the curve of the glass, but I'm still in the Series 7. Still have no interest in buying a new one because it still works pretty well for me. But I'm excited about this by the Series 11. I know that when I do upgrade, I'll get a pretty excellent watch.
Awesome product. And let's move on quickly to the Ultra 3, which I was really, I've got the Ultra 2 here, and I love this thing. Wear it all day, every day, and the Ultra 3 looks like a really nice. I mean, there was a lot of criticism that this wasn't much of an upgrade from the original Ultra, but the Ultra 3 does look like a pretty good upgrade from the Ultra 2.
It's really playing like catch up, getting a lot of the advantages that the Series 10 got last year.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
It has the wide angle OLED for brighter at different angles.
Yeah, I don't find the angle that much trouble seeing at different angles, so I don't know how much bigger of an upgrade it is. It has 24% thinner bezels, which allows Apple to use an even bigger display, the largest in an Apple Watch. And I saw at the hands-on, someone had the Ultra. They were wearing the Ultra 2 and the Ultra 3 on their wrist at the same time. And to be honest, I mean, you could see the difference, but it's barely noticeable.
I think in terms of resolution, it's only like 6 points or like 12 pixels taller. It is virtually nothing at all, but
Right,
they really just wanted to make it clear that the watch is the biggest display of all of the Apple Watches again.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice big display, so you can't knock them for that. It can also adjust its refresh rate as low as 1 hertz with always on enabled. Excuse me, and that allows you to update the watch face once a second, down from once a minute. So actually, that is a cool. Surprisingly enough, I think it's a really cool feature because then you can get the ticking second. Hand on an analog watch face.
And supposedly, and in watchOS 26, they've added support for the ticking second hands to, I think, like 20 more watch faces. So it'll be animated on many more of the watch faces.
That's a cool feature. My mom's got an older watch, that doesn't have an always-on face, and you look at it and you go, what antiquated piece of junk is that? I mean, it's horrible. Having the always-on watch face is a super, super cool feature.
Yeah, what a difference that makes.
So like the 5G, like the Series 11, it gets 5G and satellite connectivity as well. So Graham's going to be super excited about that. Claim battery life is now up to 42 hours, and this can be extended to 72 hours in low power mode. So, I mean, battery life isn't a problem with the Ultra. You can watch it wear it all night and all day anyway, but 42 hours is pretty good. So it says you can work out for 20 continuous hours. Handy for the ultra marathon.
Right.
Handy for Graham. I wonder how long until Graham does a 20-hour continuous workout.
He's probably doing one
God.
right now. I'm paired with him. You know that horrible feature where you can pair to see someone's workouts?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know. So of all the people I'm paired with Graham Bauer, the world's fittest man. So every day, while I'm lying on the couch, drinking, eating cookies, he's gone on some 7-mile run.
Graham completed a workout.
Oh,
7-mile run.
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Graham completed a workout. 60-minute weightlifting. Oh, God. What's with this guy?
I've got to unpair it. I'm sure he gets my alerts too. Leander got up from the couch to get another beer.
Lewis closed his stand ring.
Yeah. The Hermes model comes with a rubber band and some kind of weird 8-bit horsey watch face. I was really shocked by that. They were making a big deal about this. They said, "Oh yeah, it's got an exclusive new watch face, and it looks like it's Mac paint." Or the original. But then I saw a tweet. Steve Moser, I think, broke down all the different animations, and they had this huge long tweet that was like page after page, and it was all the different animations that this thing has. And on your birthday, it'll give you some special thing. At Christmas time, it does something special.
It's like an advent calendar or what?
Yeah. But there's all kind of different, it's like the Snoopy watch. My mom has the Snoopy watch face, and she gets a great delight out of lifting it up. And every time she lifts it up, something else goes on. Tweety Bird or whatever the name of the little bird is, does something, and Snoopy does something else. They're super fun. I mean, anyway, the Hermes. I've never been tempted by a Hermes model watch, but
I'm surprised that they made one for the Apple Watch Ultra out of rubber, like rubber bands for them. Like
that's a nice looking band, I think.
Yeah.
Fact
It does
check.
look nice.
Woodstock is the name of Snoopy's bird friend.
Woodstock. That's right. Of course. Yeah.
Fact check: the Hermes models are $12,000.
Well, the regular one though is the same $799 price, which is actually kind of a bit rich for a watch. $800. That's a lot of money. They do go on sale though, didn't they? I mean, it went on sale to $620, I want to say. So it's a pretty good discount, the first sales, but they didn't come for a long time after it had been introduced.
God, I didn't even realize that there was a Hermes version of the Apple Watch Ultra. Was there one in the past, or is this the first one?
I don't know if it's been done before, but they definitely made like more of a thing about it. They have multiple different models, and a lot of the Hermes watch faces are just truly bizarre. They had one that was just like a weird cartoon horse face. Like, this is not the first one they've done that's just head scratching.
That was a really ugly one too.
Yeah.
They do have I think there are some actually nice looking ones. Some of the analog ones are actually quite nice looking.
Yeah. I mean, the square analog one, I'm a real big fan of that. I was genuinely disappointed that they never sort of did their own regular plebeian style version of that.
Yeah.
The one where it's an analog watch face, but the numbers just are like square around the edge of the watch. I'd like one like that, but.
And the new what was it called? The new watch face they rolled out for this one.
It's I think like Waypoint or something like that. So it's got a compass in the middle of the dial, and then around the rim of that, it'll show you like marked locations or nearby stuff that's around you, like on Apple Maps. So you can mark, oh yeah, my tent is over here, my car is over there, and it'll show you like wherever you are, like the relative positions, like as the crow flies, the direction you need to walk to get to the nearest store or campsite or stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah. I like those. I really love those information dense displays and the interactive ones too. Although I've never used them, but they are cool to look at.
Yeah, and it has like 12 complications on it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Lewis, we're running out of time. How about the Apple Watch SE3? Let's wrap it up with that.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I talking about?
Yeah, no, we're going to wrap up. We got something very important and humiliating to go through.
Right.
But Apple Watch SE3, lots of I got a headline says Pro features. I don't know. I guess maybe they are Pro. It's kind of amazing how much better they made this watch. I was going through it and trying to figure out what the difference is. Lengthy list of upgrades in this one. It's got an always-on display. Awesome. With 4x stronger crack-resistant glass. The display is smaller than the Series 11. It's a 44 millimeter and 40 millimeter, and it's not as bright. Only goes up to 1,000 nits, which, to be honest, that is not that bright. And it is nice to have a super bright screen when you're outside.
I think the display is still the slightly smaller size that doesn't have an on-screen keyboard. I don't think like the size of the display has gotten any bigger on the SE3 versus the SE2.
Oh, I meant it's what I meant was smaller size than the Series 11.
Oh yeah.
Because I was just trying to, as I was going through this, trying to like figure out like what's the difference between this and Series 11. It's got the same Apple S10 chip, faster charging than it used to have. Now supposedly 0 to 80% in about 45 minutes, 15 minutes for up to 8 hours. 5G option. Still got, and it's got a temperature sensor. Supports gestures like double tap and wrist flick. It does the sleep score and sleep app notifications. Works with the Workout Buddy, which oh my god, I don't think we've mentioned the Workout Buddy much, but
I've been using it when I've been mowing my lawn. I have thoughts on that, but we'll probably get to it next week.
I'm not very excited about the Workout Buddy, but media playback through the speaker in the SE3 first time. So. Sounds like a great watch. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what doesn't it have. Well, it doesn't have the hypertension notifications, doesn't have the ECG and blood oxygen apps, doesn't have precision finding for iPhone, just regular old finding, no precision. And I didn't realize this. It doesn't have a metal back. It's nylon composite and sapphire crystal back, which it's not the first time for that. But anyway, also no depth gauge and no water temperature sensor. So, but you get all this other stuff. $249 comes in midnight and starlight. I mean, it's a pretty capable watch. So
yeah, that's a great starter watch, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, heck of a bargain. I think Ed Hardy, our resident writer, was due for an upgrade. He's still on a Series 3, if you can believe that. I guess he must be some kind of masochist, but that's not my business. But he wasn't sure like which model he would be upgrading to, SE3 or the regular Series 11. But he got the SE3 because it's a very good mix of features. It won't save your life as much if you have hypertension, but or low blood oxygen. But other than that, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good watch.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, especially for younger people and kids. Great for kids, great for younger people who aren't, in the danger zone of having hypertension yet. Although, it could be any age, I suppose. But
well, the hypertension doesn't work with people under 22. I saw, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a weird one. I was like 22.
What? I did not hear that. What's this?
Well, this is an unconfirmed tweet, of course.
I see.
No, I saw that as well. I think that was in like the footnotes of one of the Apple product pages. I guess it just must be their research only allows them to test it on that or something like that. Who knows?
Only after you hit 22, your blood vessels start to ossify.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, like overall, I thought what an amazing roundup of products, and it was kind of generally awe-dropping. For the first time, I think the hype the reality matched the hype. It was like bang, 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 AirPods 3, Ultra, iPhone 17, like all of them fabulous products across the line, and very few, like not above the price, I guess, but no major drawbacks on any of them that I could tell really. I mean, there's obviously compromises, but nothing, no dirt amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the SE and all the other ones, extending those hypertension and what was the other thing that they're extending?
Live translation.
Oh yeah, live translation. Giving you these brand new features to older devices. I mean, I don't know. It was like the least greedy Apple keynote ever. I mean, the Air didn't cost $12.99 with a $200 battery pack. It was $9.99 and 99. So I don't know. It was quite strange. I mean, I just kept feeling, wow, they're like, they didn't raise their prices. I mean, just the one.
Well, they raised the base model price of the iPhone Pro. So like they to get a iPhone 17 Pro, you do have to spend $10.99, which is more than before. But Apple is willing to give up the 7-cent 256 gigabyte memory chip and give you that for free. So
Right. Yeah, but I mean, overall, like I was a little scared there was going to be some massive hikes because of tariffs and uncertainty about tariffs and all that. But they kept everything very much the same. And I don't know. Not that I think of Apple as a greedy company, but I mean, they do make a lot of money. And this almost felt like just generous in a way, like here's all this great new stuff and you don't even have to pay for some of it. You already are going to get it. So
Yeah.
I thought it was an impressive event.
And it was nice, short and sweet event. Very quick, very snappy. A lot of information, of course. A lot of things coming at you, but it wasn't. It wasn't laborious.
Didn't have any of those really creative cuts, did it? There was no Craig Federighi jumping out of a plane.
Yeah, which I'm kind of, I didn't miss those. I don't really care. I'm actually really glad to see all the stores as well. Although the Miami thing at the beginning was a bit weird. I thought, oh, is this in GTA or something? But there was a lot of Miami, but then it went to all these different ones. And I wasn't familiar with that Brooklyn store. The New York one is in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that before, and I was like, what the heck is that? I had to go look it up afterwards. That's a nice looking store, crazy looking store.
Did they identify the locations?
Some of the skyline shots made it pretty obvious. Like there was the one that they had in Chicago, and you could tell because of you could clearly see like the John Hancock Center.
But they didn't put on the screen.
No,
Apple.
They should have gone full Marvel movie, like
right,
Chicago.
Exactly. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
So let's move on to, I guess, the highlight of the show. The awe-dropping predictions. How did we do? Who got the most things right?
I think I dropped my awe.
Yeah, I don't have very high hopes about this.
If you didn't listen to last week's show and you're just tuning in for the news, last week we placed our predictions for what we think would happen, what would be announced. I tried to make them a little tricky. We'll start with the iPhone section, and we're running long, so I'll go do these a little quick. You can check out this full graph if you want to take a look and you're only listening at dgriffinjones.com. My website, dgriffinjones.com. This will be the top post there, or you can click the link in the show notes and read all of these as I go through them, take them in more detail. The iPhone section, new thin iPhone is named Air. It actually is only named Air. I sort of kept the number out of this pick because I was also going to make like a pick on, whether it would be 17 or 26. But yep, we all guessed Air and we were all correct. New iPhones are number 26. Nope. They're just 17.
Who would have ever thought that?
Leander would have thought that, and he lost a point.
I just did that to be contrarian.
Yeah. New A series chips are number 26. I was genuinely hoping this would happen. I didn't vote for it, but no, they're still different numbers. So now we're dealing with three different numbers: iPhone 17, A19 chip, iOS 26. I was hoping the A series chips, those aren't as big of like a marketing thing. Maybe they'll be synchronized. No. Pro iPhones come in an undeniably vibrant orange color. Leander and Lewis weren't as optimistic, but you know what? I think it is undeniably orange.
I protest.
Right. This one is kind of debatable.
What? Okay. That is an orange phone. I don't think you can argue that.
Is it a vibrant orange phone, though? It's
yeah.
It's cosmic terracotta.
You found one picture which maybe makes it look a little less might think it is pretty undeniably vibrant.
Might have to.
Yeah, I got to admit.
Yeah. Apple makes a lanyard strap. We all get a point for that. Tech woven cases claim more durability than fine woven. I'll say they didn't say this during the event, but I think the text that they've had on the press releases, which talk about its protective coating and stain resistant, whatever, I think that counts for it. Satellite connectivity is still free for everyone. That's a point lost for me and Leander. I thought, well, it's been 3 years now. Surely they can't just kick the can down the road again. Yep, they have. Just, all right. And they still say they've extended the free trial for the iPhone 14 owners and newer. So who knows? Maybe they'll extend it again next year in perpetuity. And yes, a price point was raised by at least $100. So that's a point for Leander and I. So at this stage, after the iPhone section, I think I'm ahead and Leander's a little behind. But
a little
then we move on
behind.
to the Apple Watch section.
Oh,
Apple Watch Series 11 and Ultra 3 feature 5G cellular. That's a point for Lewis and Leander. Apple Watch Ultra 3 gains satellite communication. That's a point for Leander and I. Apple Watch Ultra 3 has some kind of blood pressure monitoring. That's a point for Leander. New colorful plastic Apple Watch SE did not happen. So that's a point for Leander.
This is more like it. Look at that. It's clean
Yeah.
sweep.
solid
Perfect score.
green. It's a
If
vibrant
Apple
green.
only announced Apple Watches, you would have won, Leander.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, are you saying? Are you giving away the whole game there?
We'll
If
see.
Because
Other
Oh.
hardware. AirPods Pro 3 with health sensors and smaller case. This case is slightly larger, so that's actually a point lost for all of us. No, really other new hardware, so that's pretty much points across the board. No new smart display, no new Apple TV, nothing else. A lot of people were hoping for AirTag 2, but that didn't happen. Miscellaneous section. Apple spends over 5 minutes reintroducing iOS 26 in liquid glass. They barely talked about it.
I was actually legitimately stunned by that.
So that's a point for me. I foolishly voted for Apple
You-
reintroducing a smarter agentic Siri. So that's a
Never
point lost
never
for
pin
me.
your hopes on Siri.
Yeah, point for Lewis and Leander. Here's an interesting one. A new product is 100% carbon neutral. They actually went backwards and are no longer claiming any product is 100% carbon neutral.
Really?
So they've removed all mentions of that from their website. They still have like the 2030 page up, and they still say that they want to be 100% carbon neutral by 2030, but they no longer claim the Apple Watch is carbon neutral. So that's a point for Leander because he voted against that. And event runs over hour 25 minutes. That is a point missed for all of us because it was pretty breezy quick.
I was stunned when there's like they're wrapping it up. I'm like, wow, what was it like an hour and 10, hour and 15 or something like that?
Hour and 12, I think. So the winner is Lewis with 10 points, Leander with 12 points, and Griffin with 12 points.
yes.
So,
No
both
clear
of us.
winner.
yeah.
Dead
So,
heat.
so if the iPhone,
One clear loser though, Lewis.
if the iPhone, if the Ed Hardy ruling on the vibrancy of cosmic orange is overturned this because we are appealing to, that would give Leander and me each one more point and you one less. So then Leander would win.
Yeah.
It hangs on the
But
vibrancy call.
I think it is pretty undeniably vibrant.
I think you need to look up the term vibrant.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get his ruling on it if you would officially like to have that judged. But we'll crown our audience winners, assuming the vote isn't overturned and I have to redo the section. Michael Dennis is a third-time winner. He says, third-time winner, can I get a guest article on the site? Have your people call my people. So we'll see about that. Shane Lother, another third-time winner, says, hey guys, love the show. Can't wait to get my hands on the new iPhone Air. I'm right there with you. And another winner, Lee Cox, who didn't have anything to plug, but all those people won with 16 points out of 20.
16. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they smoked us.
And actually, I plug a bunch of all of these votes and predictions into a spreadsheet. If you go by the wisdom of the crowd, the average audience score would have been 13 out of 20. So
God dang it, man. So
Barely
we're
eking ahead of
basically
us.
morons.
yeah, honestly, Shane
Especially
Loder
me.
and Michael Dennis should be doing the show because it sounds like they know more about it than us. But
Really,
congratulations to them.
really
Yeah,
lost
congrats.
it in the Apple Watch section. Jeez.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking part, everybody, in this.
Yeah, we had the most votes that we've ever had. So great, good amounts of
I
audience
love this
participation.
competition. Even though I lost, I love this competition. I think it's great fun, and it's always weird looking at it and trying to figure out which rumors are true. And there's so many rumors about the iPhone, man, and so few about the Apple Watch.
I've been thinking about quizzes for the show, and maybe we were talking about maybe getting people to vote on the setup section. But I was wondering, whether maybe we could look into doing quizzes, like a quiz every week. That was something I'm definitely interested in exploring. I think quizzes are fun, and of course there's a lot of stuff we can be quizzing about. So anyway, we're thinking about that. If anyone's interested in quizzes, yeah, send us Send us
text. We'll go back to audience questions on the next few shows going forwards again. So send us your thoughts about the iPhone event. Send us your questions about the iPhones, because we'll probably have those 2 weeks from now.
All right, cool. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. That's all the CultCast we have for you this week. If you want more, check out Lewis on Twitter at Lewis Wallace. Griffin is on Mastodon and Blue Sky at D.GriffinJones, and I write the Cult of Mac newsletter every day, which you can get at newsletters.cultofmac.com. Send us a text at using the link at the top of the show notes, or on YouTube, comments, and ask us your questions for the show. That's been the CultCast, the best Apple-long conversation, the best hour-long Apple conversation you can hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank you all guys for listening. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Goodbye.
Get those pre-orders in.
Yeah. Be waking up bright and early at a very comfortable 7:45.
Are you going to get up at 5 a.m., Lewis?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe. I've got an iPhone. You know, I gotta upgrade because of the iPhone upgrade program. Yeah, I guess I will. I don't know.
I think last time when I woke up, a couple of the models had been snapped up, but there was generally pretty good availability for most of them. Because that was, I don't know if that's going to be true this year.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those Airs they have, and I wonder, I don't know about the iPhone Pro. I don't know if that semi-vibrant, not undeniably vibrant, cosmic orange. I don't know if that's going to be.
It's deniably vibrant.
I don't know if it's going to be a hit or a huge flop. Is it going to be like the one that's sold out, or is it going to be like, oh, you can always get one of those at a discount?
Well, that's the one they're plastering all over the site everywhere. I mean, that's the one that is front and center.
Sure, yeah, I know, but it doesn't have the metal flake. So if it had the metal flake, people would go for it.